All right, and we're live. Welcome to Cleveland Business Live, episode 39. I'm Lisa Cole with the Michael Kame team in Berkshire Hathaway. If you want to talk anything real estate related, buying or selling, just go to lisacole.work. That is the best place to get in touch with me. Today, I'm super excited to have John Price with me, President and CEO of SubRosa. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you for being here. So a little about how we know each other through your wifey, who I've known forever, Brianne. Yes, we met like BC, which was like before COVID, when we got to sit at a table of 100 people for dinner, and we didn't have to leave at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
the good old days.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just so happy to have you here. I know you are starting this new business called SubRosa for cybersecurity and things like that. And so, I mean, just reading about your history, it's super interesting with the British government and counterintelligence, and sounds like spy stuff to me. So I would just love to know more about your history and how you started, and really just like who your ideal client is, you know, and what you would be doing for them in the cyber world.
Yeah, absolutely. I started off back in 2010, as you pointed out, you know, in signals and counterintelligence in the UK. I served in Europe and in South America doing that. And then that was really on the precipice of when you know, cybersecurity and cyber risk was starting to really be paid attention to by you know, larger corporate institutions. I mean, the industry's been big for years, but really we're on the wave, in my opinion, of significant growth. And that was a natural transition for me, leaving that world and coming into corporate America. So I worked in financial services for a few years for a large bank here in Cleveland, really doing this type of work for them, and before transitioning to SubRosa and you know, going out on my own and everything. And we were founded in 2017, so we still operate very much as a startup, but you know, seeing some good upward movement here and some good growth. So yeah.
And why would you say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry, go for it.
I was going to say, why would you say it's the need for this is picking up more and more now? And you did say that you work with more, your business to business. So you work with smaller to larger businesses. This isn't for more personal cybersecurity, right?
Yes, absolutely. So our ideal client is middle market to large enterprise. We do work with small businesses as well. But you know, our focus is on protecting companies' most sensitive data. Really, is what we're all about. So, and that's different industry to industry. You know, in financial services, they're very worried about PII, or personally identifiable information, or you know, healthcare are more concerned with PHI, protected health information, because these are regulated industries that require it. But really now, in today's business environment, any organization that has a client base should be concerned with protecting both their client information and their own information, employee information as well.
Really? And do you mean in terms of like financials, or just personal, you know, when you talked about the health industry, like personal health information about people's health, like what type of information is at risk?
So both, actually. You know, as you say, it's both personal information, which anything that's identifiable to an individual, and then health information as well. The two are regulated slightly differently, but ultimately require the same level of protection from you know, an organizational standpoint. And kind of going back to your question before, the reason why we're seeing more of a greater concern in the need to invest in this is ultimately both the regulatory standpoint, where people, you know, governing bodies, whether they're governments or states or even, you know, localities, are bringing in more regulations around privacy and security, as well as generally a greater awareness of the need to do this. You know, the more and more high-profile breaches that we see, more and more people are becoming aware. Business owners and executives are becoming aware for the need to have an efficient cybersecurity program in place. And then COVID and quarantine really presented a whole new set of challenges that leaders, IT leaders and executives have now, as it pertains to remote workers and people working from home, and how you manage connectivity between remote workers into your business in a secure fashion. So it's definitely been key in helping raise awareness of what it is we're offering and how we can help.
So what exactly do? You go in and you just, is it type of software that you implement for these companies, or like that type of thing, or?
Yeah, so fundamentally we are an advisory. So we work in an advisory capacity, but we do have technology capabilities where we essentially look at network behavior and network traffic and can early identify abnormalities and behavior that would indicate an attack. So we're able to quickly help our clients respond to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read somewhere on your Facebook page, I think it was, where it said that you really don't know like there's actually very early signs of an attack happening, but I mean, it goes on for months before you'll actually become aware of it. Is that right? Not you.
So on average, when a network is breached or an organization is breached, I say network, when an organization is breached, without any detection technologies in place or procedures, on average, it's about 60 days before the organization becomes aware that they've been breached.
Okay.
Through our processes and our technologies that we offer our clients, we can bring that time down to within a minute. Really.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. And so, how does that manifest? Like, what does a breach look like? How does when a company says, "Oh my gosh, we've been breached"? Like, what would cause them to think that?
That's a big question. So commonly what we see at the moment, and it's pretty typical of the trend in the industry, a breach is an employee clicking a link and malware getting into a network, or sending information out to what they perceive to be a trusted individual or third party, and it not being, so it being an imposter. That's a very common type of attack right now. It's very financially driven. The CFO gets an email from someone posing as the CEO, and money's exchanged or information is exchanged that shouldn't have been.
Okay.
So we would look at that as a breach. Then there's the technical side, which is someone's network, an organization's network isn't secure, and someone is able to get in. Someone is able to extract information, whether it's PII, personally identifiable information, or trade secrets, or other information that would be valuable to those attackers. And then really it's just a case of sometimes an organization might not find out that there's a breach occurred until that information is sold online, or they're approached by a client who says, "Hey, we found this. We think you guys have been breached." It all depends really on the victim organization's robustness in their program and how they're detecting attacks, and how they if they're actively looking for that information that's out there in the event of a breach.
So when you find out you've been breached, it's too late. It's already happened. The damage is probably mostly done. Type scenario, is that?
Yeah, and then it's about how you control the aftermath of a breach, which can be just as impactful and costly as the breach itself. If you're not managing it correctly, it can quickly spiral and become expensive. There are things depending on your industry that you would have to do as an organization after a breach, but as standard, right now, if you've been breached, you have to notify the people involved, and you do have to provide some form of credit monitoring service if it's personally identifiable information that's involved. And then as you get into certain industries, healthcare and more regulated ones, they do have specific breach notification requirements as well.
Roberto Flores, do you know him? He said, boom. Do you know him? I don't know if you know him. He said, indeed. He agrees with everything you're saying.
Great.
So it's kind of like, if you have a company, you have like as a realtor, our broker has errors and omissions insurance. It's insurance. It's something that you want to have. It's like having fire insurance for a building if you own it. I mean, you don't want to wait till you have a fire to try to figure out what to do. You want to have that insurance in place so that you're protected. So it's another form of protection, a layer of protection for your business that you really want to have in place.
Correct. So obviously, I'm not an insurance broker, so I can't advise anybody on best policies to get. But cyber liability is a fairly emerging type of insurance nowadays because in our experience, general liability will no longer cover breaches or cyber incidents. So businesses have to look specifically for cyber liability, and depending on the policy type and the impact of a breach, it may or may not be worth a business investing in that. Typically, if the impact of a breach, the cost of an impact of a breach is cheaper than a policy and deductibles, it'll be on the individual business to assess whether they need that. But as an important point, general liability usually no longer covers cyber breaches and cyber attacks.
Right. So you would actually, my point was that you would actually be the insurance policy if they hired your company.
No,
not necessarily insurance, like in a sense, like you would come in and you would, just do a sweep of their network and make sure that it's not compromised, and then
so we provide the services that the insurance companies will look for a business to make sure that they're doing the health checks that they need to do. Think of us as, if you get a life insurance policy, they're going to ask you, do you exercise? Do you smoke? We are providing the insurance companies the know-how that the people they're insuring are doing everything that they can in order to protect themselves from cyber attacks. So if they do have a breach and they do have to claim on the policy, and the insurance company says, well, do you do this, this, and this? They're able to say, yes, we do, but we still had a breach anyway, because no one, we don't guarantee that our services are going to fully protect our clients, because in the end, we provide advice and we provide best practices. But the bottom line is, if someone really wants to get into your organization and they have the means and the time to do it, they will find a way.
Okay. But you're more of like preventative, like you're like going to the gym so that you don't have any health issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you can't guarantee that the gym can't guarantee I'm not going to have any health issues, but I could.
Exactly. If you go to the gym, 5 times a week, and then in between workouts, you're eating yourself into a heart attack.
5 pounds.
Exactly.
If I battle a line every night.
Yeah. No gym is going to guarantee that you're going to be 100% healthy if you.
Right. I got it. Okay. It's the gym analogy. I got it. It's so interesting though, because I've never learned about it. And I know, just like some high level advice that you have for just, people personally, just to monitor and freeze their credit if they're not using it. Is that what?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So how do you freeze your credit?
So most the 3 big credit bureaus will provide credit freezing services and the capability to do that. Each one has an individual app that you can register. I'm not an expert on the specific legalities of what I believe there's a certain number of times they have to provide you with your credit file every year. But if you're not expecting any hard inquiries or the use of your credit file, there's no real reason, in my opinion, that you should have it open, because at least if in the event that someone is trying to use your personal information to open a mortgage or run a hard inquiry, it will be blocked.
Okay, interesting. I've never heard that before. We are actually we're already at 14 minutes, which is crazy. It's so interesting. Is there anything else you wanted to add or would want people to know about your company and your services, or how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we provided our email, and you can get in touch through our website. We're Cleveland based, but we do operate globally, and our clients span from small enterprises, small businesses, all the way up to large. So there's really no one specific client type or size that we would serve, but I'm always happy to have conversations and provide advice and advisory services where needed. So if anyone has any further questions, they can reach out to me.
Okay, great. And then I will go ahead and put your website in the post, and then also your site is tagged in the post as well. So if you want to reach out to John, please do so. Maybe before he has that baby come next week. So exciting. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll see you in person sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.